I'm about to get a call from Merom Braxhman. Hey there, Merom, is that better?
That's much better, and probably easier on your ears also.
And my ear is not going to get into any the mischief of humanity that we talked about.
Right.
Well, what I would like you to do,
Yes.
And I'll take notes here, is to give me a summary of what we've been talking about, so that I can share it with others.
Okay. So, I think if I have it correctly in mind, let me see if I can.
Take your time.
Yeah, let me think for a moment.
But we were talking about our passions and our history. We were talking about what we did and how we set some priorities, and how we had a vision and a strategy for our lives.
Yeah, I think you phrased it very well, though. Humanity, technology, creativity. But I think we want to extend that wording I touched on, if I remember in my letter. It doesn't have to be the word ethics per se, but it's an ethos, which could be or could have been a guideline for, let's call it, human actions in the wide context of life's challenges and life's dilemmas and the uncertainties, or how shall I put it? I don't want to say weaknesses, but let's call it the uncertainties of other action in the world around us. That's not very lofty wording, but
well, I think that's, as a matter of fact, I think it's beautifully worded. And I'm going to repeat it just so we both got it and give you time to think of your next thing. I talked about the interaction of humanity, technology, and creativity, and you said you need a broader way of thinking about it. And ethics is a more practical look, but the ethos is a more Greek word, and poetics ties into it too. It ties into all that Greek philosophy, and it gives guidelines for human actions and life challenges and dilemmas in a world of uncertainty. And no matter what field you're in, the idea that we are now in this, what the techie people call a VUCA world. The world is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous.
I believe that is particularly true on the volatile, complex, and vigorous.
Ambiguous.
Ambiguous.
So the guidelines that we use have, as I looked them over, a fancier way to say what that ethos is a conceptual framework. What is the conceptual framework that you use as a metastructure, metadata, to give you guidelines to figure out what the hell to do in this VUCA world?
I think you're putting it in a more realistic way, but with a high-minded purpose. I can't do better than that. And I don't think we should try to extend these metaphors too far. We need some basic philosophical tenets, T-N-E-T-S, that crystallize, that attract the thinking of our classmates.
Well, the problem I've been wrestling with as a non-A student at Harvard, to say the least. But I majored trying things out that I couldn't succeed at, and I pushed them to the limit. Some I surprised myself, others surprised me.
Well, but think about this. Whatever those surprises were, the experiences carried you to some higher performances later. How's that?
Exactly, Merom. And the battle between a high-minded and abstract theoretical thing, which are not useful in an overall discussion, all need to be translated into common lingo. Like we need a framework that people can wrap their minds around, get a new mindset, something like that.
You're right on the target. And somewhere in what those words I sent to Mike, I had a paragraph. I was trying myself to think in a class capital C 58 way. How could this be communicated to elicit just what you want to do, responses and ideas? Because that generates a little different tone than just backslapping at a reunion. You know that.
Or listening to something that's equivalent of a TED Talk, where you can get 1,000 and they're all beautifully done, and it would just be one more TED Talk that is not directly related to the 60-year experience that we want to share with the class.
Right. And that's really something I think a lot of people will value. You're practical enough, you were then, and I'm sure through your career, to know that this type of topic breeds some skepticism in general pursuits of life. But we're not there to be skeptics. We're there to kind of enjoy what I'll call the challenges of just what you said. What we've all been through, different roles in 60 years. I deal with, by the way, here you have the word practicality. I deal with in this ethics thing out here because you deal with people from all walks of life, and this commission happens to have wide authority, and it's survived various battles. But we write this. You'll enjoy this intellectually. We have a unique process that doesn't exist anywhere in any other state in the country. Some wise legislator envisioned this a long time ago. But when we were doing this thing, actually almost 40 years ago, 35. We're entitled to write opinions that guide performance. I'm simplifying it. And those are the toughest things to write because you've got to make them understandable to the common man, but dealing with higher performance in government. And you don't always make people happy, and you've got to make people understand them because it's not like doing something in church where you can have a higher guideline. This is down to earth with people's events and tax money, so to speak.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that this framework that I've been working on, and I'll digress for a moment into my psychobabble techie talk, I've turned the conceptual framework into the behavior of the whole brain, mind, and body, which was then reflected into a structural framework of the computer, processor, the operating system, and the applications. And that reflection of humanity in a computer could then be looked at, and you could see what the functions were and what I've done is I've mapped that to the brain so that this framework that I'm building or have built is maps to the left to the right side of the brain, up and down, limbic to cerebral system, back of the brain to the front of the brain, and those are respectively the X, Y, and Z axes, so it can be mapped with Cartesian coordinates.
Wow. That's deeper in science than I would ever have. I'm not very scientific, so I'm learning something right at this point.
Well, in brief, I went on to turn that, instead of the black box that they used in technology in the 50s and 60s, and the white box that they used in the 80s, like the graphical user interface or various mind models. They were all two-dimensional. I've now got a three-dimensional one that's like a cube. I call it Charlie's Conceptual Cube. And that Charlie's Conceptual Cube maps to the World Wide Web. So it provides standards that the World Wide Web can adapt to fit in with the brain and the mind.
Have you written on that?
That's what I'm writing on, and that's what I've got to dumb down enough so that I don't get people lost and get it into the practical side that I can communicate opinions and performance and these ideas that people will relate to and say, that's an interesting thing, I might try that.
Charlie, I think that is a really great objective, and I think we'll get some what I'll call genuine responses from classmates, many of whom are skeptics, as sometimes you and I were. But I think they'll be ready to grapple with what I'll call higher reality. This is great. This is terrific.
Well, maybe Merom, we do this as a duo because it's complicated to get three people involved, and we haven't even talked to Mickey. If other people want, let's lead on this, you and me. If other people want to join in, this is not an exclusive party. This is an inclusive party where we're trying to include interactively everybody.
I like that idea. Let's think a little bit if Mickey has expressed interest. Let's figure it out. I like whatever, you guys are right on the site, so to speak, and you've done, this is really great advanced working, advanced thinking, and I think more than the class might ordinarily receive, so this is great.
Well, let's make that you and I want to do it.
Yep.
I think that you should be the moderator.
I can be happy to do that.
And I would be the called upon learning guru, formerly known as a regular classmate, and that Socratic dialogue, and the moderator would be enlarged to include the class, perhaps doing a short version of our talk to keep it sort of down to 20 minutes, and then make 40 minutes of it more of the open discussion.
I think that would be good. I think you're right. 20 minutes is really enough to kick it off. Is this, by the way, is the concept limited to an hour? Could it be an hour and 15 minutes, or are we settled on that in some way?
I will send you the class schedule.
Good.
And know that they said they had three people, but they wanted a backup B team. I said I volunteer to be on the B team, and we might and I will call Merom Braxhman and see about his interest. They're concerned that I'm no longer a member of the symposium committee. Are you?
No, I don't know. Mike told me the committee was going to meet, and I sent him my note after thinking about it last
Okay, it's better for us not to be on the committee, because if we're on the committee, we can't make a proposal.
That's fine. So we're independent outriders.
And we will submit a proposal. I am actually videoing the phone call, which I'll send to you.
Good.
And the idea will meet on at 9:30 on November 2nd with you, me, and Nikki, and your daughter, and I'll have all this material and I'll send it to you beforehand. And that it'll be at 6 Clement Circle, which is the headquarters of the Whole Brain Foundation, 6 Clement Circle in Cambridge. My number is 617-528-8332. My home number is 617-864-6596. And together, Betsy, I can't remember her last name, is the symposium person, and together we'll get a proposal off to her indicating that we are serious.